This is a collaboration I've been so excited to have for the longest time. Boleros, you got Sam, you got Gab, you got Maui, you got Nico Rocha of the Six Man Podcast, and you've got myself. We're trying to make something special here. We have bigger plans to come. We've talked about it, but I thought it would be a good time to do a little dry run. So we are live on my YouTube. We are live on the YouTube of Boleros. We are live on the YouTube of Nico Rocha. And of course, we are on playback. To everyone watching on the YouTube lives, take note if you guys want to participate in the discussion. So whether umakit kayo sa stage later or mag-comment kayo and talk to us on the comments. Actually, the comments you guys can chat also on YouTube. If you want to come on the stage and you want mas mabilis na interaction, playback is the place to be. Miles Devesa in the house. Jer, shout out for the kind words. Infinite UAAP knowledge right here. He says, let's give a shout out to everyone before we start. Yao FV. How do I pronounce that? Yao FV from Bohol. Kilala mo ba si Mon Valmoria? I need to know what's up with Mon. Enzo, Deadpool versus Wolverine. Now, I've watched that movie. I gave it a 7 out of 10. But it's still worth the watch. Yeah,
7. Wow. Okay.
Shout out to Zoen. Shout out to Zoen.
Should we dedicate a podcast to that? To the Deadpool and Wolverine?
I don't know.
I haven't watched pa. I haven't watched. No spoilers.
I wish they focused more on the dialogue rather than all the action. But that's just me. I mean, that's to each their own na di ba? O si SJ Moore daw, naglalaro sa Bohol. Interesting. We got insider info. And by the way, my shirt right now, House of the Dragon. Shout out to Comic Central PH for the shirt, owned by my guy Ray De La Cruz. He has the best local review page for movies and film. That's Ray View on Facebook and Instagram. And speaking of House of the Dragon, just some quick words before we start UAP. I fucking love the last episode. That was sick.
Last episode.
Second to last episode. I watched it today during my lunch break, and at the ending scene, I was like, "Oh my god, I need a finale now! I need a finale now!" But I did read the book, so I'm kind of spoiled. So I'm not gonna spoil anyone. But having an idea of knowing what happens, it's crazy. Okay. Again, I want to say hi to some of our usuals. My darling wife, Karina, thanks for tuning in. Denzel Chung, the self-proclaimed Rich Paul of Taft, also sliding in the DMs of Hot Mamas. That's just what he does. We got Pino, we got Paolo, we got Fran Lu, the one and only legend. We got Okoko, Jaden, and Kariv, of course, diehard LaSalle fan. Okay, let's begin. UAP. Let's start with the big news this week. I'm surrounded by 4 Ateneans right now, virtually, thank God, because I might make some jokes that might make them want to strangle.
Under the radar kami ngayon
No, okay, so Kobe De Mesana has left Ateneo, and there are also rumors, though unconfirmed, that Rafi Celes is also going to leave Ateneo, not yet confirmed. I heard Jordi Gomez Daliano is waiting for a grade with one more subject to see if he makes the QPI. So that's to be determined. But it's just kind of been the nightmarish off-season for Ateneo. Ateneo, by the way, competing in Taiwan with UE in a tournament from August 3 to 7. I wrote an article about that today. So you guys go check it out. But I want to get the perspective of the Ateneans first, because LaSalle is now on top of things and, times have changed and the dynasty has ended.
We just have to take it. We dealt out the trash talk for the past couple of years.
I think that's why Navs invited us, so we can trash talk all the Ateneans.
No, I love... Listen, when early in my years covering the UAP, someone messaged me, gago to. In love, bias pro-key for Ravenna, hater siguro ng Lasal to, and that's how I knew I was doing a good job. So just a fun story. But that goes to show the craziness of UAP fans sometimes too, right? But yeah, after kicking everyone's ass for the next few years, this is how it goes, right? It's cycles of UAP contention. You're above for a few years, you're contending for a few years. Credit to Ateneo, they made every Final Four since 2013. That's more than a decade. At a certain point, though, you have to go through a rebuilding phase. And I want to start with the Boleros guys here. Is that exactly what it feels like right now? It's a rebuilding phase. And do you guys feel the Blue Eagles are going to make the Final Four this year?
Hell no! Oh my God.
I want four
Hell
wins.
no.
I want 4 wins. Yun lang.
Four
si
wins.
Nico
I
nga.
want 4 wins.
Si
So
Nico,
wait,
4
wait, wait,
wins
wait,
lang.
wait. What's the threshold for a successful Ateneo season? How many wins?
I would say 4 to 5 is for me a successful season for me.
Damn, yo, that's
Ah,
Tab Baldwin though. That's a Tab Baldwin coach team.
I
Ako,
know.
I,
Sige, Maui, go ahead.
I would say Final Four pa rin. It doesn't matter if you don't make it to the Final Four. Regardless if you get 3 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins. Final Four.
Oh
That's
my
the barometer
God.
I'm setting.
Sammy,
Alright.
I'm interested to know what you say because he's the more pessimistic of the three of us.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like 4 wins, 5 wins, I'd be happy with that type of season. But for me, if we make it to the final four, as Maui said, I think magbo-bonfire ako. Magpapa-bonfire na ako for Ateneo. Mag-final four yung Ateneo.
All right, so we got Maui saying Final Four, Sam saying magpapa-bonfire siya but then he makes the Final Four. Gab, Nico, how about you two?
Sasamahan ko si Sam sa support dun sa bonfire. Makikihati ako dun sa funds ng
Wait
Pwede,
lang,
game.
pero yung
Yun lang.
bonfire na yan, lalagyan niyo ba ulit yung mga pangalan ng Lasal players sa kahoy
Hindi.
bago niyo susunugin?
Wala na.
Wala
It's a different day and age.
Wala mangyaring ganun.
Wala na.
Can you imagine the social media reaction if that happened now?
Yeah, that would crazy.
Ateneo would get cancelled. Definitely.
Yung steakhouse.
Yeah, but
amo
it's a
pala.
different day and age. Pero I'm with Nico and Sam. If Ateneo makes the Final Four, mag-chug ako ng beer, mag-celebrate ako. Anything. Bonfire, mag-include ako ng kahoy sa bonfire. I'll do everything if Ateneo makes that Final Four.
Shout
Oy,
out
pero
to the show. Go lang.
Anything's possible, diba? Remember, the first year of Tab Baldwin, Ateneo lost 7 key players, diba? And everyone was saying, this team is not gonna do anything. And what happened, diba? You don't know.
Pero
Actually,
Tingnan niyo yung comment ko just now, guys.
Actually, Maui brought up a great point. You asked Navs what it feels like to us Ateneans. Actually feels like 2016. Exactly like 2016. When those 7 players left, and take note,
You
one
guys
of those
made
7
the
players
finals,
was...
though.
Sorry, 2015 to 2016. It felt like that. When 7 players were kicked out of Ateneo, including CJ Perez. So everyone was
Ken
hyped
Mark
for-
Carino, low-key. also.
Ken Mark Carino. I mean, all of those guys were slated to be rotation guys and they left Ateneo. So it feels like that. I entered that season having actually walang masyadong hope, and entering this season, parang ganun din. Walang masyadong hope for
That's
me.
Low
But
expectations.
That's a good point, yeah. And those were like relatively younger guys coming in. Like, we didn't know what to expect from, let's say, the Nieto twins back then. Diba? Kasi they were rookies, I think, when Coach Tab joined the team. So it's kind of like that, like relatively younger guys coming in now. And they're not veterans. So we'll see. Hopefully, it's a repeat of that team. Sabi nga ni Gavin Maui. Hopefully.
So Nico, magpapa-bonfire ka din if Ateneo makes the Final Four.
Oh, hati kami ni Sam, 50-50. So, baka akin na yung mga pagkain, yung mga
Drinks sa akin. Drinks
mga
sa akin.
burgers, siguro mga burgers, yung mga wings, okay na yun for me.
Okay, while we're at the topic of Ateneo, let's get to the topic that Enzo is bringing up here. We've already lost a lot of athletes and potential recruits due to ACADS. Reckon changes are needed to address this. Keen to get your Atenean point of view. Keen to hear what Navs thinks as well. Okay, I'll go first. They've done this for years. This has been the case for ages now.
Exactly.
It's whether they're competing for championships, which is often they're winning, they're creating dynasties, winning championships, not winning championships. This is the Ateneo way, pun intended, right? I mean, I know these 4 guys will start singing that song in a bit, but then like this is the Ateneo way. I mean, it's academics first and foremost, and yes, they've lost quality recruits over the years, but they've found a way to power through despite all of that. 2016 was a great example. They lost 7 players, key players too, by the way. Hubert Cani, Jerry Pingoy, Arvin Tolentino, CJ Perez, Ken Marcarino, forgetting a few there. That was my first major breaking news. I remember it was insane when I heard about that. I called the team manager of Ateneo. He was in the movie pa, so perfect timing, you know. But this is something they've done for the longest time, and they've found a way to succeed despite it. But now that it's happening, obviously at a time where the program is rebuilding, it's magnified. Whether this academic grade requirement should be changed or there should be conversations about it, but it's been the case, it's been the tradition over the years, and it's worked. It's just that now two things are happening. One, they lost quality recruits over the last few years, either going abroad or transferred, like Lebron Lopez or Mason Amos. And now the quality of competition in the UAAP has caught up to them. You think about UST, you think about even someone like UE leaning on Phil Am recruits to bolster their lineup. Of course, UP, LaSalle, we know what's happening there. We see FEU now with a Fab Five kind of recruitment class, low key, with Coach Sean Chambers really rebuilding that program. Like, it's not as easy now to beat UAP teams because other teams are finding ways to compete, and the level of competition has caught up to Ateneo, and they've been hit with some bad luck, and it's a rough patch right now. But do I think they'll be bottom feeders? I don't think so. I think they'll be contending for the final four. But going back to the grade topic, Nico, let's start with you. What do you think about it? What do you think about the QPI and how Ateneo's standards for education for their players playing seems to be a little higher compared to the rest? Do you feel like it's okay?
Yeah, that's a standard na how it was always been. High school pa ako till college, it's been the same till now. And I don't expect Ateneo to change it just because natatalo sila this year. It's a standard that they always upheld. And it would actually shock me if they become more lenient pagdating sa grades ng players. Kasi yung required naman QPI ng players, higher than the UAP average, pero lower than sa, ano tawag dito, yung mga regular students na non-athletes sa Ateneo. So, I stand by with the QPI requirement.
Boleros boys, go.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm actually proud. I messaged a lot of people when the Kobe Demesane news hit that they were shocked and sad that he's going because the front line is so thin, diba? And Kobe's tall. But sabi ko, guys, be proud na Ateneo is still holding on to their principles na, bagsak eh. Ano magagawa natin? Players like these have tons of help. They get tutoring, help from the admissions office, former players, former students, study groups, ang daming tulong eh. But kung hindi talaga kaya, sometimes hard decisions have to be made. Yung sabi nga ni Nico, we've done this since time immemorial, and there are times we have been lenient. Tama si Nico. I go back to the days when I was in college. I had classmates who were basketball players. Let's just say they were
Si Bueno
less
ba yan? Si Ryan Bueno.
no. Hindi naman si Ryan. Some other players, let's just say they were less than enthusiastic to go to class or to attend class. But they were still
By the way,
getting...
sorry to interject, but you know what I heard about your new recruit, si Kimani Laddie, the 6'8" guy? Apparently, he also had some academic issues in JUCO in college, which makes me wonder, how is he going to work in Ateneo's academic? I mean, who knows? Maybe the kid is actually very smart, and I shouldn't be underestimating him. But it goes to what we're talking about, diba?
Yeah. As I said, I'm proud that Ateneo sticks to their strict requirement for grades. I was a scholar in Ateneo. I had to maintain a high QPI, and it pains me when I see fellow students, even though they're athletes, I know they go through a tough time. Even though they're athletes, if they're getting special treatment, that's kind of painful to me because I have to work as hard. I'm a student just like them. So ako, despite na masakit as a basketball fan and ang daming talo ng Ateneo ngayon, ako stick to the principles. Ito yung prinsipyo ng Ateneo eh. So, fellow student din. I was a student in Ateneo. I know how hard it is. Ang dami ko sleepless nights in college, studying for exams. So, they should find out that it's hard too. As an athlete, it's doubly hard. May practice time. But you have to make that effort. You get privileges then also by being a basketball player. So
Correct.
with those privileges, you also have responsibilities. I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
Go for it, Maui.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Gab and Nico. Non-negotiables ang QPI requirement with Ateneo. A lot of top players have been forced to sit out. Diba? Even si Terdy Ravena was forced to sit out before. Why will we make an exception now that we're losing. So we have to uphold the values. We have to uphold the tradition of Ateneo. It doesn't matter if Ateneo has a losing season. We can afford the losing season, diba? This is coming from one of the craziest Ateneo fans, diba? We can afford, diba? We've been privileged, we've been lucky to have been the past 2 decades, diba? Since the turn of the millennium, Ateneo has been competitive. Ateneo has won the most championships. It's a cycle, like what Nav said at the start of the episode. We cannot twist our tradition. We cannot make special exceptions now that we're losing with all the pressure, di ba? We just have to trust the process, trust Tab. We've been here, we can get back. We should never waver on these requirements. I don't think they are non-negotiables, di ba? We all went through, as Gab mentioned, as students in Ateneo, how hard it is to study. But as Gab mentioned, they also get special privileges, di ba? They get free tutors, they get special attention from teachers. I've had classmates who were athletes also. I will not name some of them, but some of them were UAAP players. And the teachers and the professors really take special attention to them as long as they do all the requirements, do the needed legwork. So there should be no special exception. If they don't meet that requirement set by Tab Baldwin, that's very clear naman kasi, di ba, from the start when they're recruited, Coach Tab tells them this is the requirements that they have to do to be able to play. So that's the bare minimum that they have to be able to do so they could play basketball. So I agree with the other Ateneo guys. We should not compromise this requirement, regardless if we end the season at 0-14 or if we win only one game.
Okay, Sam, I want to get your thoughts also, but also I want you to share. Does it hurt a little bit extra knowing while Ateneo is struggling, LaSalle is out there beating PBA teams?
Definitely. I was talking about this with Gab and Maui in our previous episode. Just watching LaSalle just be so successful, and I would say they're probably my winners for the off season. It hurts even more, and I'm so jealous. But you mentioned it, Navs. It's really a cycle, diba? And Ateneo is in the rebuilding phase, and I agree with what Maui said. And I think that's why Coach Tab and Ateneo work so well together. It's really Ateneo's branding na okay, for you to become a student athlete in Ateneo, you have to be held to certain academic standards. Coach Tab is exactly the same, and I think that's why they work so well together. And as Maui mentioned, I'm pretty sure when Coach Tab recruits players, he probably pitches that. That's part of the pitch. So I think it's the risk that students have to take. Just to share, I'm actually from UP College, so I don't know how hard it is from Ateneo. But when I was choosing between UP and Ateneo, ito ang sabi sa akin ng mga seniors ko who went to UP and who went to Ateneo. It's very hard to enter UP, but it's easy to stay. It's easier to enter Ateneo, but it's very hard to stay. You have to really work hard to maintain your academic requirements. It's the same thing for all the students. So I don't think these athletes can get special treatment for that.
What you just said about the difference of UP and Ateneo, yun din ba tinuro kay Francis Lopez when he was making his decision?
Baka. Ikaw yun, ha? Wala akong sinasabi. I would blame you, ha?
Hey, we will never know unless we get Francis Lopez live on any interview and ask that directly. We will never know.
I have a bit of an idea. Francis is a high-grade average kid at UP. Yeah, that's true, Miles. But
That's good to hear.
I have a bit of an idea why Francis actually went to UP. But let's keep that under the radar and off the record instead na magkagulo. I am having a lot of fun. Listen, unknown Am. I'm gonna call you Joe. Can I call you Joe? Is that your name, Joe? Okay, Joe, listen. I went through the LaSalle dark years, okay? We didn't win a championship 2016 to 2023, man. In that time frame, Ateneo beat LaSalle like, what, 9 out of 10 times or something like that. So listen, you gotta take the wins when they're here, man. You gotta take the wins when they're here. But let's shift gears. Because for me right now, there's LaSalle and there's UP at the top. You know, no matter what your orders, I think, at least for me, it's safe to say they feel a level above the other schools right now. And we saw that with the way they competed at Phil Oil. We saw it from last UAB finals. We've seen it based on their offseason performances so far, how both teams are really performing well. UP, by the way, won against LG, the KBL team, on Monday night, and they faced them again Tuesday. I'm not sure if they won again, but I heard they won against LG with Carl Tamayo on Monday. So, speaking of beating pro teams, well, there's your answer. Now, after that, to me, it's wide open because NU, FEU, UST, UE, Ateneo, with Adamson kind of on the outside looking in, any of those schools can really compete, right? So let's go after UP LaSalle right now. Who are your best choices from the remaining schools to get the last two Final Four spots? If you guys had to pick, which from FEU, UST, Ateneo, and UE, sige, Adamson, let's include them na also. Kahit wala pa si Demesana. Which of those schools have the best chance to get the remaining two Final Four spots? Let's start with you guys.
I'm gonna go with NU, and previously in Maui's power rankings, I answered Adamson, but I think I'm gonna go with FEU. NU and FEU. NU, they have a solid core. They've always had that same core. Yes, Kian Baclaan is gone, but I think they have a straightforward replacement in Reinhard Tumamoy and Justin Garcia, who I think is pretty underrated. I think he'll surprise a lot of people. And Jake Figueroa is the clear number one. So I like it. It also depends for me if they actually choose Mo Diazana over Omar John. I've been saying this throughout the offseason. Their ceiling is higher with Mo Diazana in that lineup. I like Mo Diazana, the athleticism, the lob threat that he gives for that NU team. So NU, then my fourth team is FEU. Because actually, FEU has kind of impressed me through the latter part, especially in Phil Oil. I think they have a defined number one player, or number one and number two player, John Ray Pasaol and VJ Pre, and a third star in Jorik Pasaol. I like also how Chon Chambers has been coaching this team. I love the creativity on offense. I'm not sure if you saw that buzzer beater play that they ran for Jorik Bautista in the elimination round of Phil Oil. So give me FEU, man. I was high on Adamson prior to this, but seeing FEU now, I think they have the talent. Despite being so young, I think they have a ton of talent in that lineup.
Interesting. Okay, let's go to Nico next.
For me, my two teams are FEU and UST. For FEU, I mas naging believer ako kay VJ Pre, kay Jedrick Daa. Not only Daa, si JR Pasaol at si Jorik Bautista. Parang sabi rin talaga ni Gab with regards to the depth of FEU. Tapos yung mga bago pa nilang mga Phil-Ams na hindi ako sure kung season 87 ba sila eligible. But I'm scared of the depth of FEU. I'm scared for other teams na when they face FEU. Plus coach in Sean Chambers. While for UST, we already know who their main stars are. But there's a guy, wait, alam ko yung sasabihin kong pangalan eh. There's a guy here in UST na it made me a fan during Philo.
Estacio? Leland Estacio?
Leland Estacio. I believe those are the two likely teams from my end who can make it to the Final Four.
Got you. Okay, by the way, just some things I'm hearing. Looks like it's going to be Motong Kara for UST as the FSA. Go for it, Maui.
Yeah, actually, si Moto Tongkara was my pick. If you've been watching our podcast, I would have to go with NU and probably a wild card. I'll go with Ateneo for the fourth slot. My reason is NU. NU is number
Homer.
3. Yeah, Homer pick. I'll explain. NU is definitely my number 3 pick just because they have basically the same core without Kian Baclaan, diba? Most of the teams in the UAAP right now are sort of in a rebuild mode or sort of parading a new lineup come season 87. And that's one of the main reasons why I think Ateneo has the chance to make also the Final Four. FEU is an entirely new team. Yes, they overperformed in the off-season. Yes, they will also be having most of their key players as rookies also. UST, on the other hand, which is the picks of the other guys and also one of my picks probably, has a lot of lineup problems as of right now. I haven't seen Mahmoud. We haven't seen Mahmoud play. I think that's their biggest weakness right now, yung 4 slot. Tongkara has been okay, but they've been very, very inconsistent. I think that's what's been shown in the preseason right now. Ateneo has been consistently losing, diba, for Ateneo. But all the other teams have also been inconsistent. NU was good in Pinoy Liga, but not good in Phil Oil. We didn't see UST in Pinoy Liga. But that's one of the reasons why I think having a coach like Coach Tab Baldwin, who has been in the UAAP the past few years, can help Ateneo make it to the Final Four, similar to last season when that four slot was wide open. Diba? I think the fourth slot in the Final Four is wide open. Maybe Adamson can also surprise us. Si Gab, I would say, has always been very optimistic, diba, with Adamson making the Final Four. Even a season when they lost Lastimosa. So maybe they could also surprise us. But very wild card for me, ang fourth slot. So I'll have to go with Ateneo. You guys would say homer pick, but it's still Tab Baldwin. They'll find a way. Let's see.
By the way, just some context here. I heard that Kyle Parnada is recovering from a knee injury, so he's kind of on the shelf right now. How much time he'll have to prepare for the UAAP, considering the UAAP starts in literally 38 days. 38 days, that's crazy to think. It's earlier, but thank God it will end earlier this season also. I can't even tell you guys how stressful it is to plan Christmas vacation plans because of the last few seasons. At least now that it will end earlier, it'll be easier to navigate. But yeah, Paranada is recovering from a knee injury. UST, like I said, also recently lost a high flyer to an NCAA school to be determined. So we'll announce that when it's ready to be announced. But Sam, go for it. Who are your next two teams after LaSalle and UP for the UAAP
Uh,
Final Four right now?
Number three for me has to be NU. I agree with what Gab and Maui said. I think they're the most stable. They did lose Baklaan. That's going to be a huge hit for them. But more or less, a lot of their guys are coming back. And as Gab mentions, they have a lot of like rookies or young guys coming in that can really contribute to this team. Tebol Garcia, the second year of
Reynardo Mamoy.
Humamoy. Inisip ko si Pasaol. The second year of Humamoy. So I expect him to have a good second year. So for me, NU, with obviously their coach Jeff Napa, I think NU is going to be the stable team there. I think if NU doesn't make it to the Final Four, it would be a disappointing season for NU. I think that's how high their expectations should be. As for the fourth team, for me, it's either FEU or USD. So I agree with the other picks. I'm going with FEU. I've been high on them ever since. I like the young guys. I like the energy, and I like the new system that they're doing right now. I think it fits them better, especially with the young guys. And grabe yung development ng young guys. If you watch them during the preseason, early Pinoy Liga days versus like when they ended Phil Oil, I really like the trajectory of the players in the team. So I'm expecting a lot from them in season 87.
Great thoughts by everyone. My opinion is I think we're going to have one of those seasons where there's a step ladder for the Final Four. You know what? I'm
I
going to
hope
be bold
so.
and say it's going to be six
Oh.
versus five. I think 6 versus 5 is going to be Ateneo versus FEU. I think the winner of that game will take on UST in 4 versus 5. And I think UST is going to win. So I have UST as my fourth seed, and then I have NU as my third seed. Because if you think about it, NU to some degree is the same team as last season. You know, yes, they lost Baklaan and he's huge, but they literally have someone to make up for the spot left by Baklaan, which is Yumamoy. And in the backup guard spot that Yumamoy has left behind, they bring in Tebol Garcia to take that because Don Lim is still there in the backcourt, diba? So system is there. The
And
veteran
Steve
guys are only
Nash.
and
Don't
Steve
forget about
Nash.
Steve Nash.
But the key players of this team are going to be Jake Figueroa and Ian Manansala. And if you guys have been watching off-season basketball, college basketball, which I know all of you have, Ian Manansala and Jake Figueroa are making a leap. They're going to be really, really good players this season. And I can't wait to watch them play. The John Diasano conversation is very interesting. I think ultimately next season is going to be Colin Sakowe, the high school sensation who comes in as the FSA. So whoever plays it may be a 1 year stint for them. Let's see. Let's see if Collins even stays in NU. I mean, that's never a guarantee nowadays, right? But yeah, I think in terms of fit, system, players playing their roles, and depth, roster quality, performance on defense and offense, two-way play, NU's right there. I think they're the third team. But again, this has been NU's dilemma almost the last few seasons. Good, but just not good enough to compete with the best. And right now, UP and LaSalle, it's not a coincidence that they're the teams that spend the most, but they are the teams that are the best right now. And recruitment is key to winning in college basketball. Okay, NU versus come on Denzel, bro. Come on, man.
I
Bro.
saw that comment. I saw that
Bro.
comment.
Bro.
Oh
Come
wow.
on, man.
Wow.
Okay, so we'll welcome questions now from people. Like I said, I'd like people to come on the stage and ask the questions here. But if you guys are shy, just send it to the comment section. But we'd love to answer some of the questions, whether it's UAP related or podcasting related. Yes, UP1 versus LG Sackers, hindi Lakers. Iba yung Lakers. Although maybe who knows? At this point, the Maroons could beat the LA Lakers. Let's see. Thoughts on Padrigao's off-season performance, up and down. I think it could have been better. I think that the lineup inconsistencies of UST didn't fit so well, but he has some growing to do as well as a lead playmaker. Let's see anything else here. Not sold on the two FSAs of UST, says Atida. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I still can't get over this Denzel comment. Bro really wants the smoke, man. He really wants the smoke. All right. Good questions here from Pino and Crazy on related to Ateneo rookies, Jared Bahay, Femi Edu. Considering that we have some Ateneans here, are the expectations in Jared Bahay too high at this point right now? Because he's coming in as the star rookie. He went to UP, then he went to Ateneo, and it was a huge homecoming. And of course, he played for Ateneo in Cebu. But now that Mason's not there, now that the roster really needs him to step up for Ateneo to be competitive, are the expectations going to be too high on Jared Bahay? I want to start with you.
For Jared Bahay, I expect in terms of statistical performance, para mga 10 points and 6 assists. In terms of I think that's realistic. Entering Ateneo, especially with the kind of players that we have right now, I really don't expect him to be a savior, but at least to be a key piece of a future championship team. It was never Jared Bahay is gonna take us to the Final Four. It was more of Jared Bahay is gonna be a key piece eventually. So I still stand by with that, and I think 10-6 is middle when it comes to expectations. Kasi medyo when it comes to assist, mahirap talaga yan. Like, especially sa collegiate ranks, especially pag hindi mo pa kapa yung opensa, 6 assists might be too high. But I think 10-6 could be realistic for Jared Bahay because I still believe that he's a top prospect for a reason.
Good. Nice one, Nico. Okay, let's get to a question here from Fran Lu. I want Sam to actually answer this one. From the great Fran Lu, how do we say this properly, Nico? How do we describe Fran Lu? How do we introduce Fran Lu to the Boleros boys? Kilala niyo ba yan si Fran Lu, Boleros boys? Have you seen his
Yes.
post on? Oh,
I
okay.
think he comments
The-
a lot on our videos. He's one of our
Comment, yeah.
subscribers.
Constant rin.
The Comment King. Yan ang bagong nickname for Fran Lu, the Comment King. Okay. How big of a loss will Policarpio be for DLSU?
I think it's a big loss, to be honest. Because he left DLSU, I would say I would rank UP higher, slightly higher than DLSU now. If you saw how they used Policarpio last year, he was really the KQ light. He was the KQ super sub. He's like KQ in everything he does. Yung versatility niya nandun. So it wasn't hard for UP or Coach Topex to sit down KQ and give him rest. Obviously, they have a bunch of recruits. Alex Konov is coming in. He's huge. He's 6'7". Probably will fill in that Policarpio role, but he's a rookie. So we can't expect a lot. We do have a lot of expectations for Alex Konov, Gilas youth guy, but he's a rookie. So I think losing the veteran experience of Paulie and yung angas. Paulie's a bad boy, diba? Alam mo naman, especially when he plays against UP, may angas siya. So that's also like intangible that you're going to lose.
My gigil din siya though. Remember game 1 of the finals? Oh my God, that was tough.
PR
horrible.
Smith, is that you?
Question here from Jay Cyril. Any insights on how JD Kagulangan is still eligible? Okay, Kagulangan used a loophole in the COVID pandemic where he transferred to a non-UAP school and then went to a UAP school, which at that point, because it was the pandemic, did not count against his eligibility, which is why he can play one last season with the UP Maroons. In 2024, Austria will bring that Angas giggle this season, says Tonyo. I think CJ Austria is the second coming of Ryan Aranya for these DLSU Green Archers. Okay, we have. Did I read it right? Tim Cone is in the house. Yeah, Tim Cone is in the house asking a question. What's up, Coach Tim? Thanks for joining us. I don't know if that's legit you, but thanks for tuning in. Okay, thoughts on John Ray Pasaol performance this preseason. Let's go to Gab on this one.
I
Sakto.
think it started off roughly. He wasn't hitting a ton of his shots, especially from close range. I think he was struggling with the physicality. But as the preseason wore on, you saw that he was more comfortable being that number one ball handler role. Just to take note that a lot of the preseason, it was Denok Miranda was coaching. So he was doing a lot of his system also. So a lot of isolation basketball for Jan Ray Pasaol. And I think that did him well. He adjusted to the pace. He adjusted to the physicality. And I'm not sure if you guys noticed this. He's gotten to the free throw line consistently. There are multiple games where he had 8 to 10 free throws a game. That free throw rate for a rookie is crazy, meaning you're able to get to the rim, to blow by your defender, and take the contact at the rim. So he's one of my favorites for Rookie of the Year, along with his teammate BJ Pre. I love that how he's now unquestionably the primary ball handler. The start of the preseason, it was either him or Jorick. But that was the balance that they were trying to figure out. Who's going to be our main ball handler? Is it going to be Jorick? Is it going to be Jan Ray? But towards the latter end of the preseason, Jan Ray is now the main ball handler, initiating the offense, going one-on-one, while Jorick has basically taken over the Cyrus Torres role. The shooter off the ball, trying to get open threes. So I think Jan Ray, he's on his way, man. He's on his way. I think he's a star in the main. Well, he's a star already. He's gonna be my favorite for Rookie of the Year, and definitely the maturity is way beyond his years. Love this guy.
Excellent thought. Excellent thought. I was going to ask a question. Let me see if I can remember it because, oh, yes. Is this the greatest batch of UAAP rookies ever? Honestly, I want everyone to answer this because let me just list down the names for all of you, okay? Jacob Baila, Zayn Mahmood, Alex Konov, Jaden Jones. Adam Nakai is technically not a rookie because he's a transferee, so we're not going to include him. Let's see. VJ Pre, Jedrick Daa, Amiel Asido, Mikara Nepe, Adamson, NU Tebol Garcia, Vince Reyes, UE Nico Molintapang. Anyone else I missed? Any other school? Looks like I covered all school. Jared Bahay, Ateneo, Femi Edu, Ateneo. So it's insane right now. Is it the greatest? Like, are we going to look back one day at the 2024 UAAP draft class and be like, that was the UAAP's version of 1996 in the NBA? You know, let's start with you. Sam.
You make a good point. I think we missed Doy Dungo, by the way. Shout out.
Oh
to
yeah,
Doy Dungo.
exactly.
Really
Yeah.
good for LaSalle. One of our favorite rookies for the season. I think you make a good point, and I think it's also like a function of how all the teams are really competitive now, and they have a lot of teams are really investing in recruitment for some reason, diba? So there's really this big recruitment war going on. Before, most of the big recruits would only go to like 2-3 schools, but now everyone's doing heavy recruitment. All the teams are looking at foreign players also. So I think that's what's making like the rookie classes look much deeper than before. So you could make a case, pero wala akong maisip offhand. Ano bang batch yung ano? Maybe the pandemic rookies, because we missed one season during the pandemic. So there are a lot of rookies when the UAAP went back. Guys like sina Carl Tamayo, technically we saw them for the first time. RJ Abarientos was also a rookie back then. So baka that team would make a case, but it was a very interesting recruiting class this season.
I agree. Nico, I want to get your thoughts on this. Go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
The only batch of rookies that I could look back to as one of the great rookie batches was the Kiefer Ravena and Bobby Ray Parks rookie class.
MVP.
Because just because of the two of them, I can't remember any other rookies from that batch. I just remember the two of them.
Ferrer, technically, diba? Si
Kevin Ferrer.
Oh, nag-shift siya.
No,
Was
we're
Kevin
talking
Ferrer
about-
then? Kasabay?
Yeah, we're talking about true rookies, so fresh out of high school.
Ferrer, probably, yeah.
Yeah, but if you remember that year, Bobby Ray Parks, I think, won MVP. Then for some reason, they couldn't give the Rookie of the Year to Bobby Ray Parks despite being a rookie MVP. So they just
Oh,
gave it
because he wasn't a true freshman. Yeah. So sorry to cut you in. Just to explain to people who don't know, you only win Rookie of the Year if literally the year before you were in high school. So kahit nag-redshirt ka one season or you didn't play at college at all, but if you kailangan fresh out of high school. Anyway, keep going, Gab.
Yeah, but they gave the Rookie of the Year to Kiefer, and I think for a rookie, quote unquote, in Bobby Ray Parks to be an MVP and to have the phenom as a rookie in that season, along with Kevin Ferrer, I think that's a pretty damn good rookie class. So, yun para sa akin. That's the only class I could think of that could match probably the greatest rookie class.
Mga kabatch ba natin yun? The Kiefer Bobby Ray days ba? Age reveal na ba? Nico is the baby from all of us, the recent graduate. Okay, Nico, you were gonna go. What are your thoughts about the rookie class?
I think it's too early to say if this could be one of the best rookie classes. I think it's one of the most hype because this is the social media age compared to yung mga time nga ni na Kiefer, di ba, na dapat diehard UAP fan ka in order to know. Ngayon, pati yung mga non-UAP schools are also aware of what's happening outside the UAP circle. So, yet to be seen. I think we should do like a review siguro midway ng season or even after the end of season 87, dun lang natin malalaman. But I'm still sticking with the Kiefer and the Ray Parks. Kasi they're a batch below me. So, they're a batch above me. So kaya aware ako dun sa yung hype nung time na yun. Kasi yung batch after nun, sina Geronting, ito si Geronting and wala na eh. Parang ganun lang eh. Siya yung representative namin eh, 2012. Si Jeron lang din wala na. Pero yung batch
Si,
na
Jer si Jeron yung tipong pagpasok kagad, alam mo, start talaga di ba? Like,
si Jeron alam
game
mo start.
winner, rookie season, give me the ball type, get out of the way. I want to get to, I think Sam hasn't answered it, but I'll pick a different question for Sam. There's a question here first, so from Francis Ferdinand. May mag-switch, will NU switch from Omar John to Diasana? I don't know. We'll only really know when the season comes along. Guys, send in your questions. Everyone in the comment section, whether YouTube or playback, send them in. Okay, for Sam here, I want to ask Sam a question here. Sam, let's say that UP and LaSalle made the finals again. Early prediction, who wins that series, UP or LaSalle? Let's get to it.
Wow.
Because we know
Sam
it's
is
UP
cursed, by the
and
way.
LaSalle.
Sam is cursed.
We know it's UP and LaSalle and everyone else right now. So
Yeah.
let's ask the question: UP or LaSalle?
May curse yan.
May
Whoever he
curse ako,
picks.
So, FYI, the Bolero listeners know this. Whoever I pick, the other team will win. But I have to go with UP right now. UP has a chip on their shoulder. They should have won last season. I think they had it in the bag and they lost it. So if you ask every UP player, even the coaches, I think they want to face LaSalle in the finals, probably because they want to have that revenge championship. And you can see how crazy UP recruited this off season also. And they beat LaSalle in the Phil Oil game. But I think they didn't let that stop them from recruiting more. Diba? QMB is probably the big recruit. Because we always said the problem of UP is they can't match up with the bigs of LaSalle. And they lost Malik Diouf. So that's a big loss for them. So I think the recruitment of QMB, they're really preparing for LaSalle. They know they're going to face LaSalle in the end, and I think they're preparing for that. And JD Kagulangan is in his last year. Francis Lopez in his second year. I think they're going to make sure they win the championship this season. So I'm picking UP for now.
Got you. Well, Sam does have a curse according to his Boleros teammate, so who knows? I will say though,
Sorry.
UP, even if they've gone undefeated, there's this kind of feeling that they're flying under the radar this offseason. You know, a lot of the offseason news have been Kate. UP also had recruits, Ramagat, QMB, obviously. But a lot of the offseason stuff have catered towards LaSalle got this player, LaSalle got that player, Mason Amos left Ateneo, what's happening to Ateneo, and all this while that's happening, UP's like, yeah, we're just gonna win in Serbia undefeated. We're gonna beat KBL pro teams. We're gonna go undefeated in Pinoy Liga and Phil Oil. We're gonna beat LaSalle twice. We got a very complete roster right now. Like they have solutions in every position, and add the fact that they're kind of flying under the radar, no drama, not a lot of the narratives, and they're just playing basketball and training. And they have the chip on their shoulder from losing last season. That is a deadly formula. And I think right now I would give a slight edge to UP over LaSalle because they did win Phil Oil. So I'm going to give UP the respect in that regard. But yeah, I think it's UP and LaSalle. I want to ask my Ateneo friends here right now. I don't know if they'll still consider me friends after I ask this question, but I hope to have them back in this podcast, of course. So I'm going to try to be nice about it. What hurt more? Francis leaving Ateneo for UP or Mason leaving Ateneo for LaSalle? I want to start with Gab here.
Oh, it's the Mason Amos one. For Francis, I mean, it was not hurtful to me. It was kind of funny to me because he celebrated the championship with Ateneo season 85. Then a few weeks later, he's going to UP. So that was funny to me. And if you look back at the pictures from season 85, you could see Francis Lopez celebrating in the locker room with the champagne and everything. That was just funny for me. Mason hurt more because Mason came from Ateneo High School just 1 year though. But we talked to Mason and he felt like he owed Ateneo something. Those were his exact words. And he had a promising rookie season. And with Kai Balungay gone, he was slated to be the number one guy. So it's very similar to our parents experiencing the way BJ Manalo left, who was expected to be the number one guy once he gone up to the seniors. Mason, yeah, it's painful talaga. He kind of gave us hope eh. Yun yung kay Mason eh. May hope na binigay si Mason na he was gonna be the main guy for season 87. He partially recruited Jared Bahay also. He did mention
He
that.
absolutely recruited Jared Bahay, 1,000%.
He did some tampering right there.
The only two Ateneo players still talking to Mason are Jared Bahay and Chris Porter. Everyone else unfollowed him now on Instagram.
Wow. Even Kyle Gamber. And that's funny because he said he's closest to Kyle Gamber. And that's pretty painful.
Okay, Kyle still has his TikTok dances.
Di ba he posted nga a Kevin Durant photo the day Mason Amos transferred?
It's definitely Mason Amos. Mason Amos.
Let's go to Maui next. Maui, Mason or Francis?
Definitely Mason. Kasi if you watch our podcast, di ba? Lalo na ako, di ba? Kasi I'm one of the biggest fans of Mason since he was playing sa Batang Gilas, di ba? I've heard about Mason even before he was hyped, diba? He was supposed to play for the juniors division at Ateneo, but COVID happened, so he wasn't able to come, diba? If you see a picture of Mason very young with Coach Tab, that was supposed to be the time nung high school pa lang he was supposed to transfer. But I think yung emotional attachment ng Ateneo fan base community on Mason is what makes it harder, like what Gab mentioned, diba? With Francis kasi, was expected to not play in the UAAP. Was expected to play for overtime elite, di ba, in the US. So nobody was really expecting him to go to Ateneo. Mason, on the other hand, has probably been hailed as the next King Eagle, similar to how BJ Manalo was before. I think yung emotional attachment ng Ateneo community, given how he performed last season, given how he was part of probably one of the most crucial moments during season 86, di ba? Everyone was rooting for Mason. Mason was, in virtue, yung crowd favorite of Ateneo over veterans like Kuno or Balungay, diba? So, this stings, this hurts. It doesn't help that I think it wasn't handled properly by Mason based on reports. I don't know if that was the case, if that was what really happened behind closed doors, but based on the reports that came out, that doesn't really help the situation, which is why I think yung magnitude ng transfer ni Mason Amos is a lot worse than yung kay Francis Lopez, di ba? And we were also getting a Mason Amos after Francis Lopez, di ba? So, Ateneo fans were not that bitter. Ateneo fans were more optimistic. Ateneo was also a contender during that time. Ateneo is struggling right now. Si Gab mentioned yung hope. We talked about this sa podcast namin. Ateneo needs that glimmer of hope. Right now, the program doesn't look good with all of these players leaving. And Mason deciding to leave the ship when it's sinking doesn't really give a good impression to the community. I think even the veterans, if you saw yung what SJ Belangel posted, di ba? Wala na bang pride ng players ngayon, di ba? So it really stings because Ateneo is struggling also at the moment. Ateneo didn't need Francis Lopez during that time. Ateneo definitely needs Mason Amos right now. They need that key guy. Nico said it best. Jared Bahay is not supposed to be the savior, di ba? It's supposed to be the improvement of Mason with a Jared Bahay coming. Now it's only Jared Bahay coming and Mason transferring to even Lasal. This could have been a lot worse if it was probably the early 2000s yung transfer ni Amos. It's different now, di ba? Players are now friends, coaches are now friends. Ateneo and Lasal rivalry is not as hostile as it was before. But this could reignite that, I would say.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Mason, he didn't say this directly, but the vibe I got was parang, listen, I grew up in Australia. I didn't grow up knowing all about the Ateneo Lasal rivalry. It was
That's
like
a
I
good point.
adopted it when I came here, right? And I think we forget the human aspect sometimes as fans. And I'm going to count myself as a fan because I love the UAP, even if I'm a journalist too. I mean, I'm not a journalist, I'm a media person. But anyway, I'm a fan first and foremost, so I get it. The rivalry, it's easy to get enamored by the tradition, the excitement, the history. You know, when Eagles and Archers go to battle and go to war for years and years, it's just ingrained in your mind. But someone coming from abroad, they come here and they're like, okay, this can be a little overwhelming to some degree, right? Now, I think we've talked about Mason a lot, so I want to get to other questions here. Okay, from RC, I'm gonna ask Sam and then Nico can answer. As Ateneo alums, who would you root for if UP and LaSalle make the final?
Uh, I studied in UP for college. So, I've been cheering for UP ever since. Kung hindi Ateneo, UP yung team ko. So, that's an easy answer for me. But I have to say though, in the last finals, I was also happy for Lasal. I have to say that because KQ was very fun. That team was very fun and exciting to watch. So I love that finals.
Okay, Nico.
That's a really good question. Kung si Remogat nasa UP ngayon for season 87, I would have chosen UP since I have a good relationship with Remogat. Pero since wala si Noy ngayon for season 87, I'll be going for LaSalle since just because of what do you call it? More relationships built with the players. Mas nakakausap ko sila more than the UP players, and that's just pretty much it. Dun lang with regards to who I'm gonna root for. And they're gonna be the underdogs. Who doesn't love an underdog? Yeah, mostly talaga just the relationships with the players kaya sila yung root for ko. Siyempre dun sa mas maraming kaibigan. But if UP wins the
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, by the way, we have about 5 to 7 minutes left with everyone because these are working men and I want them to get some sleep. And unlike me, I have a weird vampire sleeping hours. These people go to bed at a normal time, which I'm trying to do, but it's just so hard when you can watch House of the Dragon at night and all these new shows that are out. Anyway, let's see. Any questions I missed here? Last call for questions. Everybody send them in. You can ask about the UAAP. You can ask about podcasting. If you want to know more about these guys, feel free to do so. Okay, will season 87 be the end of the Coach Tab era? Gab, do you want to take this?
I think he signed a new contract in
His
last
contract
year.
expires early 2025. So technically,
Oh,
in terms of UAAP coaching, 2024 right now might be the last one. Unless he, of course, extends.
I think you'll see this through. He did recruit a ton of these young guys, and I think a ton of these young guys are loyal and devoted to him as a coach. So I think he'll see this through. I mean, he has a track record. He has 4 championships. I'm sure MVP would want to keep him there. And for now, there's only one way that he will not be coaching next year is if the community does not want him back, because that's literally what happened to Coach Bo. Coach Bo, despite number one seed, yeah, they lost in the final four, but the fans and the community sort of turned on Coach Bo when he was there. From now and how the community reacts, iba, in Tab we trust nga, no matter how many losses we have, people still trust Tab. That's how highly regarded he is. So I think he'll still continue. Despite the rough season that we foresee for Ateneo, I think we'll see Coach Tab in a Ateneo bench.
What I heard is if it is a need coach tabs last season, the number one option people in the Ateneo community want to replace him would be Norman Black. And for good reason. Right now, Norman's not the head coach of any team. He's still in that MVP system. He's helping out with Sambeda, helping out with Meralco. So he's coached Ateneo before. He has always been well liked by his players. He won 5 straight championships. He knows how to win. It would be quite interesting if Norman comes back, especially given the current state of how competitive the UAAP is. All right, last call for questions, everybody. And of course, I'm so thankful to all the guys for joining me, Nico, Maui, Sam, Gab. This has been so fun. What does it feel? I want to ask you a question. How does it feel, guys? I mean, the Boleros started as really a passionate podcast where three buddies would talk about their passion for the UAP, and nowadays people very much look forward to all episodes. They tune into YouTube, they tune into Spotify. Do you feel how different it is now for you guys?
I'll let Sam and Maui answer this.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty fun. Kasi it was a passion project. But it's fun when you meet people watching the games live. I think that was one of the best experiences I've had during the previous season. Not just from Ateneo, di ba? Kasi it's validation if it's from another school, di ba? They know that you look at the interests of the whole UAAP, not being biased for Ateneo. I've enjoyed actually meeting people from UP, meeting people from LaSalle. I've enjoyed sitting beside them. Coincidentally, it's fun. It's fun. It's something I never imagined could happen to us. It's something I'm looking forward to again this season. We're very welcome to meeting the viewers of our podcast. Kasi you understand that they invested time to watch us. Di ba? It's on a weekly podcast episode. We want them to approach us. We always say that on the podcast kasi it's a different experience to be able to talk to people also from all walks of life. So we're welcome. We're welcome.
Si Maui ba yung spokesperson of Boleros? What do you say at this?
I just want to say, it's been fun. It's really fun meeting like a lot of the fans, talking to them. Kahit sa Messenger, may mga nagme-message sa amin. But we couldn't have done it without these two guys also. Like Navs and Nico, they always give us tips, by the way. Like when we were growing, when we were like trying to build up the podcast, we would always reach out to these two guys for like question support. So when Navs invited us over here today, we were like, we have to do this. It's Navs, it's Nico, let's do it. So thank you to the two of you guys, by the way.
Always. I mean, I love the content you guys come out with, and I'm so happy you guys were game to collaborate. And one of the main reasons why I felt this would be a great episode was because, like Nico, like the three of you, and like myself, I'd like to think we all have passion for the UAP. And what we're saying, we're not saying just so that we have something to say. We're saying it because we've actually thought about this, we feel about this while we're driving or washing dishes or doing house stuff or work. Ano papasok na lang sa isip natin, is this the end of the Ateneo diet? No, I'm just joking. Papasok na lang sa isip natin. Can UP beat LaSalle? Can LaSalle beat UP? Can Ateneo make the Final Four? Like, we're fans and we love the UAP first and foremost, and really love what you guys are doing. And I'm so happy that everyone watching tonight seemed to enjoy this collaboration. And we have something coming up, guys, right? We haven't really started working on it yet, but it's so exciting. I'm going to give everyone here a preview, everyone on playback. So Nico, myself, and the three Boleros guys, sometime in August, time permitting, hopefully, we are going to come out with a top 30 UAAP players list. Okay, we are going to rank the UAAP players eligible for season 87, 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30. And we are going to start from 30 to get to 1. We're going to have 3 different episodes where we discuss our picks. We are going to rate them a certain score based on a few factors: skill, locker room factor, how many years they have left, and all that jazz. And can't wait to get started on it, and especially with these guys. So I think that's going to be fun. Wow, top 5 Nepo babies. I hope that's not us. I hope that's not us. Come on, man. Come on. Need a rep from UST in this group, says Pancho. Interesting. Okay. Final words. Nico, anything you want to share? What do you have coming up? And I want everyone to share their final words by giving their prediction who will be the UAAP champion this season. An early prediction. Nico, you get to go first.
Alright, I think first of all, gusto ko muna na naging friends ko bigla, sina Sam, Gavin, Maui, just by, yung nakikita lang kayo in person, wala kayong formal meetup, alam mo yung nakikita lang kayo online, kaya parang ina-assume mo, okay, friends na kami in real life pag nagkita kami. Di ba parang ganun, as guys? Ganun nangyayari. May mga dap-up pa. Pero yeah, it's a great, I love how we became friends with them, how it happened so naturally. And then, mga next episodes ko, I will try to look for a guest na pwede pa i-invite. Kasi I had Felix Lemetti before, so that's on my channel. And then, now I'm sorry, what was your last question?
UAP champion prediction.
UP pa rin. Even though I'm cheering for LaSalle, I feel like this could be UP's time. The QMB edition, I feel like he's a better Troy Reich. Kasi diba merong He has similarities to Troy Reich in terms of skill set. But when I saw na parang mas athletic si QMB, mas may bayag pa maglaro. So that's what I feel about QMB. He's gonna take UP over the top and finally get over that hump. Sorry for saying that bayag word.
Okay lang, okay lang. Sam, you go next.
UP, I think they have a chip on their shoulder. They wanna face LaSalle and they want to reclaim that championship. It's UP for me by a slight edge.
Let's go Gab and then let's go Maui because since Maui's the Bolero spokesperson, he will share what you guys have coming up.
What you have coming up? So we're doing the lock maybe or nah episodes where we decide the lineups for each UAP team, and I think the one who commented the Nepo baby thing kind of watched our episode on LaSalle, so no spoilers. No spoilers on who we consider the Nepo babies or the trust fund babies. But yeah, I think you guys can figure that out. But champion for this year, everyone else went UP. My mind says UP, but I think my heart goes to KQ. I love KQ. I'm a big fan of KQ. Turned me into one of his more passionate fans. I'm gonna go LaSalle.
Maui, floor is yours.
Ako, I would go LaSalle just because they have the best player in the UAP. I think that matters a lot, especially in champions of the previous years. Diba? Ateneo had 30. Maybe the exception is UP when they stole that season from Ateneo, but I would have to go with KQ. I'm excited to see yung development ng players ng LaSalle. Mike Phillips, si Doy Dungo, I think will be a big surprise this season. I like how he plays. I like how versatile he is. Si Abadam, I've always loved him since he played for Gilas. Coach Topex, diba? Despite getting hammered last offseason when they were losing meaningless games, has been a huge delight for LaSalle. I think that's underrated what he has done for the system, the culture of LaSalle. It's one of the main reasons why I think LaSalle has also been getting top recruits, especially the same position as Kevin Kiambao. I think it's why Pablo Conova and Ason Amos all decided to go to LaSalle because of development, they see it. I just think that they can go another gear. You can only play 5 players, diba? UP has probably the deepest team, I would say. 16 deep, diba? If you talked about players head-to-head, UP would probably have the edge. But when you talk about the 5 players you can put on the floor, I would think that LaSalle could match whatever 5 UP has with KQ at the helm. I think that Agunane would be a problem also for UP. Let's see, maybe I'm hoping if they get to the finals, 3 games ulit, then I'll watch game 3 also live.
By the way, Maui, where can people get that Bolero shirt? Are you guys selling that?
Yeah, actually right now we're getting orders. If you look at yung videos namin on YouTube, I think there's a sign up link that Sammy has made. We're trying to get yung
We'll put the link in the live stream of this episode. So
Go for it. Yeah, put it in the chat box so people can get the Bolero shirt. I need one of those shirts in the future. I think I'll get you guys some shirt I haven't released shirt for my podcast yet, but let's swap to some degree. And Nico needs to get in on this as well. That'll be super exciting. Okay, is there a group for Boleros? You guys should have like a Facebook community group. Do you have one of those?
Not right now, man.
wala pa. Spotify and YouTube pa lang.
It's kind of difficult to have so many social media. I mean, Sam as a kid, I have work and a ton of other responsibilities. Sam, Maui has his business also, so kind of hard to maintain that right now. But we'll think about it. We'll think about it.
For sure, for sure. By the way, Sam just posted the link to the Bolero shirt on the chat box, so you all check that out. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And can I say we're gonna do this again before the season starts and maybe sometime during the season?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Sige. Perfect. And are you guys willing to hire Fran Lu as your social media manager?
Send your resume.
Fran Lu, pro Lasal ka ha. Masyado kang pro Lasal. Baka ma-kick out ka after first day ha. Pumapasok ba yun si Fran Lu? I'm not sure. Anyway, thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thanks to those who watch on YouTube, whether that's my channel, Nico's, or the Boleros. Thanks to everyone who came on playback. I can't wait to do this again with the Boleros guys. Subscribe to their channel. Subscribe to Nico's channel, the 6-Man Podcast. Follow us on Spotify. And we're going to have more episodes like this. Thank you so much, gentlemen. More power to all of you. Keep up the great work. God bless. And I'm not gonna, do a UAP cheer right now. It's too early for that. Maybe the next episode. But stay safe, everybody, and ball is life. Let's just end it there. Good night,
Okay.
everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.